official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
Woo! New year, just about upon us. I'm hoping, Drapes, that you and Amil can find more common ground this year. You guys have been getting along great this summer, but I know when football starts, something happens, right?
Morons.
Something happens.
Not to me, to this guy. He turns into 49er fanboy overnight here. And so
what are you talking about?
I just want unbiased journalism from Amil Fragoso.
From the Eagles fan?
No, I'm biased, but I'm not the guy covering the team, big fella.
That's fair. That's fair. See, you get all up in arms about the Eagles stuff. You're still not over last season. You're not over that December game. It's okay. It's okay.
And Niners fans are still talking about 2012 and all, we're still talking about 4 years ago losing to the Chiefs. And so it happens, man.
It happens. Hey, the Chiefs getting a lot of people right now. It happens.
What do you think of this, Amil? If the 49ers don't win one, I know they still have a lot of time left to do something about that. Do you think it's possible we will look back on this era and say the 49ers were the Utah Jazz to Patrick Mahomes, Michael Jordan?
So the Niners in this scenario would be Karl Malone and John Stockton.
Yes. And Jeff Hornacek.
I like the comparison. I'd agree with it, honestly.
Wow.
Look, if the Niners do not, and I think Jay can even attest to this, if the Niners do not get a Super Bowl out of this current run, it is an ultimate failure of what has happened the last few years.
Really?
We've gone to the Super Bowl twice now, been in the NFC Championship multiple times, and as great as the Niners are, as many games as they won, as many star players as they have, and you can't get it done, that's a failure.
Wow.
It just is. It's a failure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's all we need, Amil. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks,
that's
guys.
That's all I had for you.
Sorry to be Debbie Downer today. But
We don't know yet. We don't know.
We got to let it play out.
This year so crucially important.
A long season to play. The vibes have been suboptimal. I'll be kind there, considering that Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk are still not practicing and really not around right now.
Right.
So if they can get that done, I think the vibes would definitely get better. But roster cut day came and went, and there's some surprises, both good and bad.
Yeah, who you got?
Oh, no, just a plethora. The biggest surprise for me right now, and I think this is more of a wink thing, just going through the archives and looking through how this is going to play out. Only 2 tight ends on the 49ers' initial 53-man roster.
Really?
2. Typically, they carry 4.
4, yeah.
Dang.
So, who would the other 2 be? Who the 2 currently are, I should say, George Kittle and hometown kid Jake Tongs. Shout out Jake. He had really good preseason. It's going to be interesting to see how he is used this year. He could be more of a special teams guy, potentially more of a blocker or a gunner, potentially. Who knows? The 2 guys I do think that will be back on this team, though, because the Niners are known to do this, where they will release a player they want to keep, keep a player they know they're going to put on IR because they know they only have a certain amount of IR spots they can have, where if they do it before the cut, it's season ending. If they do it after the cut, they can have it designated to be returned, which would be John Feliciano. Guys like Ambry Thomas could be going on IR potentially too because of his fractured forearm. And then the 2 guys I would expect to come back at the tight end spot, Eric Saubert, their number 2 very clearly, and Logan Thomas. They
just brought him back.
They just brought him back, then cut him, then brought him back. It's snip, snap. It's interesting.
Does the Elijah Mitchell thing where he's season-ending IR, does that mean – because they could have just cut him, right? They didn't have to put him on –
They didn't have to. It's more of a courteous thing to him to make sure he has because he is hurt.
Okay.
They can put him on IR. He won't count against their cap at all. And he's more just hey man, we know you're hurt. You know, you're banged up. Take this time, heal, rehab with us, with the team you've been with the last couple of years. Get your paycheck. Probably going to part ways after the season. It is the final year of his rookie deal. So
gotcha.
Okay. Being nice there. The Niners being nice.
To some degree, yes. There are some kind things there, which the IR can be to a certain degree. Obviously, Elijah would rather be playing, not hurt. But unfortunately, multiple MCL sprains and now a hamstring injury that flared up in the preseason. He just can't catch a break, and I feel so bad for him.
Yeah. Hey, Amil, can you put into words the importance of this season? I remember we were talking last season, and, it was Super Bowl or bust. Is it really that now because of the contract situations and Brock next year and guys you got to pay? Is this the last dance of this current iteration of Niners that we see right now?
100%. This is the last dance of this current mostly
like some
cluster.
Big names won't be here.
Next summer.
Again, this already started when they asked Eric Armstead to take a $14 million pay cut this year, asked him to take $6 million, which was a slap in the face of the veteran, the blueprint they called the defensive line he got his money in Jacksonville, but they already kind of started there. They asked Kyle Juszczyk to take a pay cut. He did take one. I would not expect him to be on this roster after this season, considering where they have to go with the money. Kittle, question mark. Debo, question mark. Javarius Ward, Diamador Lenore, all guys need to get paid. Brock Purdy needs to get paid. Brandon Ayuk going to get paid at some point. There's so many big name players that are demanding, not just asking for, demanding top of the market money. And that includes Trent Williams, who still is not in Santa Clara right now. He is still in Texas, still just kind of doing his own thing, but he is asking for top of the line money, asking to get, by quote from Josina Anderson, paid, which would be in the $30 million range for a guy of Trent Williams' stature. So a lot of decisions coming up for the Niners. And unfortunately, we've talked about this for a while. You just can't keep everybody.
Yeah. Do we know who the backup quarterback is right now? Is it Josh Dobbs?
It's Josh Dobbs.
Yeah?
Yeah. They kept 3, but I believe that Josh Dobbs is the number 2. He did enough in the preseason to be the number 2 quarterback. Brandon Allen, they would have had him be the emergency quarterback practice squad guy if the NFLPA had voted to approve that. They voted to veto that rule yesterday, which prohibits. Thank you, sir. Prohibits the 49ers from being able to do that, being able to finagle a roster spot by having Brandon Allen be on the practice squad, but then elevate him on game day to be the emergency quarterback.
Amil Fragoso joining us here on the drive, guys.
The beard,
got the beard going. What's the wide receiving room look like right now? Meaning, obviously, we know about Ayuk's situation. Tricky Ricky Pearsall practice yesterday. How confident are you in the Niners wide receiving core right now at this moment?
I mean, I'm confident to a degree that Brock Purdy has enough weapons to have an efficient offense. I'm still confident that he has enough weapons.
Without Ayuk even, or you mean?
They have enough to get by.
Okay.
I think that Ayuk takes them to a different stratosphere offensively. Yeah. I just do. I think Ayuk is their best route runner and Brock Purdy's favorite target for a reason. Almost 25% of his targets go to Brandon Ayuk, despite the numbers being, less than a star wide receiver would get in terms of receptions. Brandon Ayuk is Brock Purdy's favorite target in terms of as a pass catcher, as a traditional quarterback, running the routes, getting in and out of breaks, because Brock Purdy is all about timing, hitting your spot, hitting the right spot in the route, right spot in the play call.
Throwing the ball to where the guy's supposed to be.
Correct. That's Brandon. Debo is more of a playmaker. Debo kind of does a lot of different things. He's a very much an offensive weapon. That's why the Niners love him. But Brock and how he plays is more suited to Ayuk's style of football, which is why I think they will still come to an agreement and it will get done at some point. It just depends on who is going to budge. And it appears Ayuk is holding out to see if the Niners do budge in this last little bit of the fourth year. But yeah, in terms of the rest of the roster, the biggest surprise on the wide receiver is Ronnie Bell. Yeah. I was shocked that Ronnie Bell honestly made it. I no disrespect to Ronnie Bell. Has worked his tail off, has had a great preseason in his first year, but kind of fell out of the depth chart last year. And then even this year with the new guys they brought in, he seemed very flustered in camp, doesn't really have it all together at certain spots. But he had that unique return against the Raiders last week where he really fought for a couple extra yards and hustled and worked his tail off to get that and on that punt return. And I think that willingness to go above and beyond is what the Niners value the most. And it's potentially why they are keeping him for at least right now, because Ayuk is, because he's holding a part of this roster. So it's not they're keeping Bell because Ayuk's not a part of this roster.
If there were an Amil Fragoso award, and there should be, for the guy who was most impressive in training camp and preseason, somebody that maybe we didn't know about before, it's like, whoa, I had no idea you were that good. Who would? And there's a handful of guys to me that are real candidates based on what we've seen in the preseason. Who would get that Amil Fragoso award? There's
a couple great names. Do you want a more known name or
it's your award? You can give it to whoever you want.
I mean, because I've been on the Jordan Mason season for years now about Jordan Mason. Yeah. But we're going to talk about guys who really took me by surprise this year. Dominic Pooney.
Yeah.
Dominic Pooney, the I will tell you right now, the starting right guard for the San Francisco 49ers as a rookie, a third rounder, took him out of Kansas. We thought, okay, they have Burford, they have Feliciano at that spot. They like those guys. They're consistent. They understand what the offense is. But a guy like Pooney, who was thrust into this role because of injuries, and Feliciano will likely go to IR initially to start the year, really unique to see a rookie learn this offense so quickly on the line of scrimmage. They demand a lot out of their offensive linemen, especially for a guy in Dominic Pooney, who was a right tackle in college, transitioning over to right guard, obviously still the same part of the line, but different situation for him and at the NFL level. But he has been rock solid, a consistent guy on that line, and it's really shown up in the preseason, only allowing 1 pressure in 3 games.
How do you feel about the squad going into week 1? We look at preseason, you got a tie, you got some losses. How do you feel about the team going into week 1 right now? And considering the opponent also.
Yeah, considering the Jets. It's hard with the Jets because you really haven't seen this iteration of the Jets yet. Again, Aaron Rodgers got hurt after 4 snaps, it felt like in that first week 1 game. So you really don't know what this Jets team is. Last year was a hodgepodge of quarterbacks and receivers and making it work under Robert Saleh, who are we even sure if he's a good coach? I mean, honestly, they haven't done too much yet, the New York Jets. So it's interesting to see what will happen. But I think the star talent and the understanding of offenses and defenses, because again, Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator for the Niners for many, many years, and they respect the hell out of him. So it's going to be interesting to see iron sharpens iron in that game. I do think the Niners will win it. I think they'll come away with the dub, but it could be a close contest, especially if Aaron wants to get some revenge at home.
Yeah, I have no idea. We're reading all these things and talking about Aaron Rodgers. How good's he going to be? No one has any idea, really. No one has any idea.
He's in his 40s. He's not in his late 30s. He's in his 40s, coming off an Achilles tear.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Yeah. Jacob Cowing, by the way, that would be my guy that would get my award. He was a candidate for you as well.
Oh, yeah. A big Cowing guy. I was a fan of Jacob Cowing coming out of Arizona, even though I'm a ASU guy. Don't like Arizona.
Notice how Amil, anybody who's any good, always a fan of his going way back. You notice that?
Right.
I love you, Whitey. I miss this. I miss this all the time where you guys give me banter. I give you guys banter. It's great. No, Jacob Cowing, though.
Yeah.
All love for this guy. He really reminds me of Marquise Goodwin with the Niners back in the day when he almost went for 1,000 yards. A deep threat guy. They honestly, the guy they wanted Danny Gray to be might just be Jacob Cowing. Jacob Cowing has been really, really good this preseason. Very likely to be the team's starting punt returner this year.
Who did you think, honestly, through your years of covering football or even just as a fan, who did you think was going to be good that wasn't? We all have those guys, right? We all have those guys. Yeah.
Reuben Foster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. But that was for other reasons too.
Right. I know.
Reuben Foster was an incredibly talented player coming out of Alabama, but just did not put it together. Just Niners.
Well, anybody. Do you remember Lawrence Phillips? I thought
Lawrence
Phillips.
Yeah.
Again, I just say other reasons involved. But
other reasons involved. Really, Reuben Foster is my biggest, man, if this guy could have just stayed away from all the other stuff, I mean, he really could have been something special. That guy had a lot of talent coming out of college.
And Drapes, I still don't really understand why Reggie Bush wasn't better,
Right.
It's Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Saquon, I mean, I thought Saquon was going to be the next Barry Sanders.
Nah, but was in a trash organization.
Now
watch what happens.
Now with another one. Okay.
Oh, see, there it is. The Eagles hate. You're worried about the Eagles a little bit this year, though, right? A little bit.
I mean, I'm not in love
worried
with
about them or worried for them.
Guys, let's call it what it is. On paper, the Eagles offensively, to me, are a more talented team than the Niners.
Okay.
I won't tell you what my Pop Warner coach used to tell us. This is what you could do with paper. I won't tell you.
But am I wrong? We go position by position.
They are a very talented team. The problem is that last season was a real indictment of you're good when you're good and you're bad when you're bad, because they also lost the New York Football Jets.
They were horrible towards the end, the back end.
So offensively, teams should be worried about the Eagles. Offensively, they have a lot of stars, especially after adding Jahan Dotson out of that wide receiver core.
As your number 3.
Defensively,
great draft. We had a fantastic draft.
You did. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of who's calling your plays right now.
Really?
And the reports I've seen coming out of Eagles camp have kind of agreed with me on that one. Vic Fangio, I think.
What are they saying?
It's not good. It's more of what happened in Miami last year, where they went from being one of the best to one of the worst. And I've heard that. They also kept James Bradbury, which is also Debo's
terrible. I have no idea why they kept
Debo's
that guy.
son is still on the Eagles, so there's that. So
how'd you think their starters looked in the preseason?
The Eagles?
They didn't play them.
Yeah, they didn't play them. Yeah. Which
they hard at work behind the scenes. We ain't got to show everything.
You should want to have your stars in for at least a series or two in the second or third game.
I ain't worried about that.
You should.
I've been told around these parts preseason means nothing. You can't take anything out of preseason. It has no impact.
Still want you guys to season.
You still want a little bit of continuity.
Chiefs
even with the Niners, they still had Brock Purdy go out there, and they knew Brock Purdy was
Didn't look good.
In the third game, he did.
All
Yes,
right,
he
we're going
did.
to take a quick time out. You can stick around if you want.
Nah, he could go. He could.
I mean, I got time today.
He got that going on.
I'm wondering what you think. Chris the mom checked in with a really interesting text. Steve Young had some really interesting things to say about these holdout situations the Niners are dealing with. So what do you think of what Steve Young had to say yesterday? That's coming up with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Most amateurs like to play for something on the course, and you'll be pleased to know the USGA doesn't object to informal wagering when it's a friendly bet with your friends. Some of the most popular wagers are the Nassau, which is 3 bets. Low score on the front, low score on the back, and a low score for the full 18. In a round robin, 2 members of the foursome team up against the other 2, but the catch is the partners rotate every 6 holes. In skins, the player that wins the hole earns the skin. If there's a tie, the skin is carried over and the next hole is worth 2 skins. And of course, don't forget wagers for greenies, landing your shot on a par 3 green, sandies, earning a save from the sand, woodies, parring after hitting a tree, and of course, Arnies, parring without hitting the fairway in honor of Arnold Palmer. So play away. Your amateur status is safe. For Golf to Go, I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we make the dream of owning a new car easy and stress-free.
With prices that you just can't say no to. Save on our best selection of the year during the final days of the Honda Summer Event.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number 1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
Celebrate Sacramento Rivercats baseball during our 25th anniversary season and join the fun at Sutter Health Park. For a full promotion schedule and to buy tickets, visit rivercats.com. We'll see you there.
Toyota's national sales event is on now through Labor Day weekend. It's time to keep your summer going with the new Toyota Hybrid and its incredible MPG. That means fewer fill-ups and more adventure. Choose from Toyota's 16 hybrid and electrified models, more than any other brand. And go the distance with Toyota's class-leading fuel efficiency and reliability. There's one for everybody. Hit the open road in your new Toyota Hybrid and live it up in California. Hurry in today. Toyota, let's go places.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Cut down day today. Amil Fragoso, our 49er insider, SactownSports.com, is with us. I'm not going to ask you if there's any update on Ayuk or Trent Williams, because if there were, you would have told us already, right?
Yeah, there's no update.
Yeah, right. What did you guys think of what Steve Young said yesterday on their Bay Area flagship? Chris the mom just alluded to this on the text line. And Steve Young wants to see this team win. It sounds like he's getting a little fed up. Just in short, here's what he had to say about the 2 holdout/hold-ins. He said, Super Bowl window never closes. It's not going to close on us, but it will narrow. It will narrow significantly. So if the window's as open as it's going to be for some time right now, everybody needs to be on board. And that's why Trent, I think he set the market with his original contract. I think Jed and everybody's willing to do that because it's the best tackle in the league. And now you're going to come back and say, no, I want to set it again because there's another $8 million collectively that I can go get. It's like, bro, do you not see what we're trying to get done here? That's Steve Young. Isn't that interesting? Like,
yeah,
dude,
that's the legend.
We're trying to win.
Yeah.
He says about Brandon Ayuk because of his youth, because he's not going to set the market yet, wants to set the market. says, I want to be traded, then goes through this. I don't know how to put it, but it was like, bro, if you want to tear up the contract and do something big, then you might want to go the 5th year and go prove it out to make sure that everybody's on board with you setting the market. Or if you're going to ask to be traded, then when they make a trade that works for you, you got to say you're up for it. You don't say, oh, no, that doesn't work for me, because then it was like, well, what do you want? So Steve Young has had it with these guys.
Yeah.
What do you think, Amil? That's your guy.
Well, the other part of that was that the agent needs to figure out what kind of his client wants. And is that alluding to Ryan Williams of Athletes First not knowing what Brandon really wants, of thinking, hey, we have this offer, we have this offer, we have this, and Brandon's kind of just saying no to all of it. Because, again, if it was just about money, he would be on the New England Patriots, making $32 million a year. He would be. It would be that. It'd be the trade would be involving probably Matthew Judon and some other kind of picks before Judon was traded to the Falcons. It's not about just money. Ayuk wants the best situation with the most money possible. But here's the problem, as Steve Young has alluded to. You can't have it all. You can't eat. You cannot have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Not with the Niners, especially.
Do we know what the offer is, Amil? Like, do we know what?
We don't know the official numbers. My inclination, after what I've read and researched,
28-ish,
it's
right?
about 28 and a half. It's closer to 30 million than we thought. It's closer to Amon-Ra's deal.
Okay.
The problem, I think, is that the Niners have done this in years past, where they have given out 3-year contracts instead of 4-year contracts. Why is that? Because the Niners use that 4th year of the deal as a void year to get out of certain guarantees. They did it with Deebo Samuel's contract. It's why after this season, Deebo's likely to get traded or cut, because if they do, they save $18 million on their cap next year. Ayuk saw this. He's spoken with Deebo, who are very close friends, obviously going through his contract talks. He's been a very close confidant of them. Ayuk doesn't want that. Ayuk wants some guarantees in year 4 because he wants to be on the Niners. He doesn't want to leave the Niners. If he wanted to leave the Niners, he would have asked to do so seriously by now. He would have been traded by now. He would have traded at the draft if he wanted to leave the Niners. He just wants to get market value. That's it. That's all he's asking for. The problem is that with the Niners, it's hard to do that because you have all these other guys who are already at market value.
But that's not his fault.
No.
You're right. And that's why, there was a time years ago, when people would side with the team, always like, come on, you're a player. You're playing football. Why don't you sign? Now it seems like, we don't look at it that way. It's like, yeah, it's a business. You got to look out for yourself. So I'm a little surprised, and bless Steve Young, and he's old school, and he's been there and he's won a Super Bowl. He's entitled to his opinion. But it's like, wow, that you don't really hear people talk that way as much anymore.
Yeah, and usually players, at least current ones, understand the business side of it. You gotta, don't begrudge a guy for wanting to get his money. No. I think Steve Young now, though, is looking at it as a legacy thing. He's a 49er for life, and he's like, all these distractions trend. Yeah, Ayuk, this is hurting our team's chances of winning the football.
For years, it's hurt them, though. I mean, even when Deebo's contract year, Deebo wasn't the same that year. He had one of his worst years, probably the worst year of his career. Bosa probably had one of the worst years of his career coming off the contract talks. None of this helps the Niners this year win the Super Bowl. Besides them re-signing and staying on the team, they will not get out of both Trent and Ayuk the best versions of them because they haven't been on the field. And Trent's even worse because he's not even in Santa Clara right now. At least Ayuk is around, kind of. He's in the meetings. He's paying attention.
Chris Mom says, I like Steve Young's comment about the Ayuk situation. Hope his agent is listening. But, like you say, everyone's been getting paid. And now I'm Ayuk or I'm Trent Williams. Like, I don't want to be the sucker that says, all right, I'll take less so we can win.
Yeah. No one does. No one wants less money. Let's be real. No one in any contract is going to say,
even though it's obscene amounts of money.
No one's going to say, give me less.
Yeah.
No one's saying that. And it goes back to, and I've heard this a lot over the last couple of weeks and months, just thinking about the Ayuk and the contract situations. Pat Riley always talked about the disease of I.
Disease of me.
Thank you. Disease of me. Thank you very much. The disease of me, wanting what's best for me and me solely. That doesn't help build the team. It doesn't help build the roster. It doesn't help build the foundation. The Niners are all about camaraderie and teamwork and being a part of the collective and working for each other, blocking for another person. But what happens when you get to the contract table and it's just you and the negotiators? Then it becomes solely about the individual, not about the collective. And because certain Niner players have gotten, not going to say screwed over the years, but they've gotten less than they could have gotten on the open market, they're more hesitant to just take what the Niners are offering.
Yeah. How do you see this playing out? You think both guys get in camp within the next week?
I think both guys will be there week 1. I really do.
I think the 49ers at some point very soon have to go to bowl and say, look, this is it. If Trent, you don't want to play, this is what we're going to offer you. This is most we can offer you. Take it or leave it. I mean, if you're going to go back and forth into the season, it becomes counterproductive.
Correct. Unfortunately, it seems Trent's dug in, and Trent has more of a reason to be dug in than Ayuk does.
I know. I understand
and
that. Yeah.
because of the current rules, players only have to play 6 games in a season to have it be an accrued season. So to get their full check for the year, they only have to play 6 games of the year. Trent's looking at that thinking, well, I can hold out until the bye week probably and then play the rest of the time and be fresh for the playoffs. Ayuk's thinking, they're going to pay me eventually. They'll cave. They cave a Bosa.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I know it looks like Jay gets mad when we talk about a last dance, but it's not trending in the right direction, is it, Amil? So far this year. Plenty of time, though.
It's never a simple offseason for the Niners. It never is. Never will be, it feels like.
Thank you, Amil Fragoso, and I thought you guys behaved very well. And,
we're
very
cool,
respectful.
right? Yeah.
He's my on-air frenemy. Come on now.
that's my guy. Come on
That's
now.
my guy. I love and hate.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Manti Te'o had some interesting things to say about the 49ers. I think he sounds like an idiot, but I don't know that he is an idiot. But hear what he had to say when we come back to Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask